So we've just missed our boat, and earlier today there was a boat that was supposed to go to Laguna Perlas, and we weren't too sure about the time. And then by the time we got here, it said, well, it's only gone for the day, so you need to come back tomorrow. But there's another way you could get there. So that's taking one of the other lanchas or boats that would take you to Kukra Hill Island, and from there you take a taxi, and the taxi would take you to Laguna Perlas. All right. So when I came here, so this is this is the boat that we just missed that is about to leave now, and this is the boat. The boat takes about 45 minutes, it said, and so I came here just to check the time, and it says, well, it's just easy. Most people, it takes maybe, I don't know, an hour to fill the boat. So we waited. I went back to the hotel, and then to come back. And by the time I got here, it's already filled up. So one of those things is that sometimes you can be lucky that people just arrive at the same time, and the boats are really will be filled up, and you can go. It's about 150 cordobas, so that's I don't know, say $6 for the 45 minutes boat ride. So we missed that. So we're waiting for the next one, but we're the first now, so it might take, I don't know, an hour. Yesterday it took us an hour and a half to get to fill the boat. So we're just now in the waiting mode here. Something else I see here. These are the relics of some of the. This is the boat. I don't know what this one is, but it's got a lot of. Oh, I think that's for maybe crawfish or camarones, as they're called here. They're going to dump those in the sea anyway. It looks like it. And so a bit of history here whilst waiting for the boat at Bluefields main. It's called the municipal port. And so what happens is that before the main road was open, a lot of the people here would always travel by boats. Goods, everything's by boat. So there is an island there, just about 10 minutes on speedboat. It's called El Bluff. We went there yesterday, and now now that the road is open, there are more goods in the market. So I'm just going to give you a quick view of the market. There are more goods in the market, and that's a good thing. And it's of course cheaper. So most of the boats here, the setup is to carry people from one end of the port to other smaller islands. Yeah. Anyway, so and then the other boats like this one carries gas canisters. So that's just a form of transportation that you see that are. People who have settled in all the islands, and that's what you see. Just something else I was going to show you. I'll explain in a minute. So what happens is that the boat is still there, and you're thinking, well, it's almost filled. Why aren't they moving? We required 2 space, and they only have 1 left, so we have to wait for the next one. And you think, well, they'll move, but apparently not. They're not leaving until the last boat is filled, the last space is filled. And I think if nobody shows up, everyone with a life jacket would just wait. So it's just I know when you think about queuing in London or in other major European cities, it's like, oh, I'm waiting for too long. But here, you just need to, you sit in the bus and you just wait. It doesn't leave until it's filled up. So that is one of those things that just, well, I wouldn't say, if you're not familiar with the system, it can get to you. Anyway. So here in front of the port, something you notice is that this is called the municipal port, like the town port. There are other smaller ones where people like local individuals have built a port, and they use the ports are used for as a meeting point for other. As a port destination, so I think individuals probably built those. And something I noticed here is that a lot of the space here, you would expect it to be clean, but it's just got a lot of dirt on the road. And here you've got abandoned cars, and this is supposed to belong to the town, the port, but it hasn't been cleaned up. It's got potential, but the town hasn't cleaned it up, so it just looks a bit abandoned. For whatever reason, I think you would expect them to do a better job at cleaning. It's not as if they don't have the population to do that, but it just doesn't seem to be a priority for some strange reason. All right. So, anyway, so this is one of those things that if you're here, it takes a while getting used to, because it's just part of what life is. And so this is the meat market. So you've got cheese. Something else you notice is that in the meat market, most of the meat are sold in the open. So most people don't this is something you wouldn't see. I don't think, unlike, there was a scandal a while back in the UK when a lot of people, rotten chicken were sold to people, and and they used bleach to clean it up, and then packaged it and sold it to individuals in the market, and that was not a good thing. And now you would think, you would expect that the standards are better, and you wouldn't have dodgy deals in the Western European countries, but then you still do. Here, most of the meat, I would take it, would be fresh, but you just need to clean it up a bit, and that's it. It's just what it is. Even there are a lot of street dogs here, and most of them are like, they hang around the market area, because of course that's where you want to be if you're hungry and you want to get food. So you'll hopefully get some scraps of you get some scraps of bones that no one's willing to buy, and the vendor toss it your way, and then that's your meal for the day. So this is on the port, and they're trying to demolish this house here, and so they're just pulling it out, and that's it. Cables and manpower. So the house is in ruins already. It's in better days, but it's just amazing that this is the technique they used to demolish it. Pull it down and then strip it apart. Interesting. Went away after 2 hours waiting for the boat to fill up. So what can you say? So we finally arrived after about 45 minutes, I think, of boat ride. Noisy engine. This is it.
Laguna mana no? Anda, ya. Laguna. Venga, aquí, mira. Vamos, venga.
So this is Kukra. Just it's been I would say almost a nightmare getting here, because we're not used to the system, I suppose. The boat ride was a bit bumpy at times, but it was all good. What I gathered from the place is that there isn't much to do here. So most people will probably just, because it's quite a tiny place. If you look at this is the port. So there isn't much to do. Boats, I suppose. Look at boats and just walk along here. I could get a taxi. I see a lot of taxis going to Laguna. It's a 15 minutes ride, I've been told. Alright, so this is an interesting one. Kukra Hills. So the boat ambulance. Cool. I guess I could come back and explore whatever there is here. Let me see if I can get a taxi ride like everyone else and go to the other side. Laguna. All right, so this is the port of Perlas Lagunas, and so how I got here, because we missed the boat that goes directly from Bluefield, so we had to. I took the taxi. No, I took a boat to Kukra, and then from Kukra. A taxi. The taxi is 100 Cordobas, I think $3 or something. So this is where we were supposed to end up if we hadn't missed the boat. But then, okay, we missed it. So, but that's another way to get here. And apparently, the boat, the direct boat, takes about 2 hours. But I've noticed that people just tend to have a different notion of time here. What I mean is that they said, oh, it's going to take you like half an hour to get there, and then you walk and it's like 10 minutes. So yeah, notion of time. All right, the whole point of coming here was that people have said, oh, it's another island, and it's another one of those big islands that you visit. The interesting thing here is that there isn't, I wouldn't say there is let me go through here because it says there's a playa there. I'll check with people later. So anyway, I'll check the story of here. But what I find fascinating about getting here from Bluefield is that it's so remote. That there isn't much else happening there. So it might sound a bit, this place is a bit, let me say, what's the word? Remote. But anyway, so the whole idea is that it's so remote, and when you take the boat and it just goes through the mangroves and the waterways, and you're like, is there civilization at the end of this? And then you get to Kukra, which is a smaller town. And you're like, all right, fine. But then you continue on your way, and then the closer when you take the taxi, it's all like fields and everything, not much happening there. So I said, but then when you get to Kukra, it's like, Perlas Lagunas is just like this massive town with more people. So we'll try to get a bit more information about that later. So my first impressions of Perla Laguna is that it is clean. It is cleaner and seems a bit better put together than Bluefield, which I was surprised to find out. As you walk along, you just it just feels different. The houses just seems to breathe a bit better because. This is the municipal library and cultural house here, and then the police station. It's clean. Even the road from Kukra to Perlas Lagoon is a bit, it's well, it's empty, but it is a good road. You know, no potholes or anything like that. Well, you rarely see some of these form of transportation. But anyway, so I asked the lady at the clothing store, and she said, well, you're going in the wrong direction if you want to go to the beach. So I need to come down this way. But the question is this really how to get to the beach? We're going to have to find out. She said in this direction anyway. I just met two ladies there, and I was asking where the beach is, and they were like, "There's no beach per se here. So if you, well, there isn't. So that's the simple response. And there's one which is also part of the municipality that is a bit further up, about 1 hour away. But I don't think I have time for that. She said the population is about 4,000, but she wasn't too sure. And her answer is Google it. And I thought, yeah, exactly, Google it. do some homework before you come here. But anyway, what I see from just walking around is that the streets are wider than Bluefields. And I don't know why the population is also tinier, but it's cleaner as well. I think that's a good thing that you see here. And what I've noticed is during the taxi ride to get here, people were speaking like a sort of local Creole, and then it seems to be the default language. That's a nice house. Someone with a bit more budget. The houses are really nice. Okay, I'm saying really nice because compared to what you saw in Bluefields, I think that it's just completely different here. So I was asking the ladies, where the center is. They said, you're in the center. What else do you want? Like, excuse me. I don't know. I just had this. All right. The reason for this is that when you go to other parts of Nicaragua, so
here's my brother. Everybody stand with the by God hand. You understand the word of that?
no.
No. God is the creator for each and every one.
Okay.
So God is the father for each and every one.
Uh-huh.
Without God, we couldn't be on this earth.
So
And in God, who is yet the salvation ever. And you know what, we just work for the devil and none of us say God needs these hands. Need the part of us to be with him.
okay.
You have to kick up this boy, kick up
All right.
everybody
So
but
I've
you.
just heard someone just approached me and preached the word of the Lord. So I guess I'm saved. All good. All right. So I don't even remember what I was saying, but anyway, he said this is the center, so there isn't much to see after that, and I think that's probably linked to the port. And this is a church. This is a really nice church, and it's very hot. Thank goodness I brought some water, so it's going to help a bit. And then I need to get something to eat. Really nice church. I can hear the organ being played. And on the street here, you noticed it's, well, I guess it's the time of the day. During the day, it's hot, so you don't get people walking around. There isn't much there, so let me just go back on myself here. It is a small town, but it's very clean. I think the government has invested a lot here to keep the main roads really nice. So when you walk around, it just feels good. The roads, you don't see many potholes, not unless you go off the main roads, then that's a different story. But I think it's still a good thing that you have something like this available for the people in Perlas, Lagunas. However, something I noticed is that there isn't much to do here. I don't know what it is for young people, what it feels like. I'm not even sure. All right, so I just asked, and apparently there are no universities here. So even in Bluefields, with over almost 60,000 people, you have a small university, and but I would take it that most people would travel to Managua or the other big cities if they, after their high school, secondary school, and then they go to, if you want to continue your studies. And so that's most likely what you would see here. It is interesting. So, and this is the problem with most towns anyway, that if you live in a small town that is further away from anything, it becomes a problem because for young people, opportunities are limited. So if you have a big city like Bluefields that has the struggling, you can imagine being even further away, like here, it's going to be even more difficult to get anything going. And so most likely, what I notice is that they've got a lot of young people, so people are obviously having children, but the other side is that sooner or later they get older and they'll move away in search of better opportunities. And once that happens, you start to get the same problems you get in mainland Europe. That is, the older ones, someone needs to take care of them, but the younger ones are not staying, or they're not getting into the workforce really early in life, and because of that, it means everyone's struggling, and you get the imbalance of labor and brain drain, people leaving. And sometimes it's not even a case of okay, go and study in Managua or in other places and then come back to develop here or use your resource here. It's just going to be very difficult to do that, because if there are no opportunities, what would you be coming back to? So that is not good. Thing here is that you've got some hotels. This one here, Green Lodge Homestead Hotel. It says "Live it, believe it." All right, that's cool. And then you have another one here, hotel restaurant, Comedor, which is another hotel. And I would take it that most of the reasons why is that sometimes some people, if you come and visit family, they don't have enough space or you don't want to stay with them, you can stay at a hotel. So you have one of those as well. And they've also got a restaurant, and this is another church, a smaller one. And one of the things you notice is that even if Catholicism is a bigger religion, you still have a lot of Protestant religions as well here. In the port of Perlas, Lagunas, you have the a restaurant at the top here, which is this one here, and then below you have people waiting for their boats, so there isn't much happening. There is something I want to an observation about the system, that you can take a boat directly and come here, which according to them is 2 hours, but I don't think it's probably that much. But if they say it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. But then when you take a boat from Bluefields to Kukra, and from Kukra you take a taxi, so you get about everything would take you about an hour. But of course the taxi is 100, and then you pay 150 for the boat ride, so that's 250 pesos Cordova all in all. So I don't know, it just seems cheaper, it seems faster anyway in my point of view. So I checked on Google, and apparently Laguna de Perlas has about over 20,000 people, but the main town itself here only has about 11,000 people. So it is bigger than I was told. And now you might be wondering, where is everyone if this is if there is 11,000 people? Well, they're not in the street, of course, and the interesting thing is that the urban area, which is here, the center, is only ever busy when a boat comes in, and the main occupation of most people here is fishing, and then agriculture. I think there was a rice field on the way here, and so you have bananas. That's a staple here. And someone told us that most of the tostones, which is a fried banana, sliced bananas. Did I say banana? Let me fix that. It's plantain, but a banana plantain. And those ones apparently is a staple here. So the tostones, anytime you order food, someone will say, do you want it with tostones? After you've been asked a few times, the name sticks with you. Now I'm on my way to get a taxi back to Kukra, and then from there, hopefully I take a boat, and then get my way. So. I experienced something on the way here in the taxi, is that when you take a taxi, I jumped on a taxi from the port in Kukra, and I thought, oh, I'm fine, so let me just chill here. And all of a sudden the taxi stopped, and then someone walked in and sat beside me, and then it stopped again, and then more people joined. Before you know it, it was all packed, and we all paid 100 Cordobas. And the reason why is that I think it's a ride share, basically, the older version of Uber ride share, and it makes it a bit more affordable for everyone, and it also means that I think it's an efficient system, because it allows people to instead of paying, say, 400 Cordobas, which is much more expensive, so you share the price between everyone, and it also means that it's a bit slower. But on the good side is that you have more people. It's good for the driver, and it's also good for the passengers. So I'm back here at Kukra port, but the boat isn't here yet. I've already paid. So the whole point now is if I can make it to the center of Kukra and back here before I miss it, the boat back to Bluefields. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Let's see. This is something. This is the cemetery that's just next to the port. And something I noticed about the cemeteries in Nicaragua in general is that they're not really well taken care of when compared to the cities in Costa Rica. And the only time you get an abandoned or not well kept cemetery in Costa Rica is when they are in really remote areas. But even then, the locals tend to take good care of it. So the good the one we saw that was really nice, sort of a way of talking about cemetery, is the one in Grenada. It was absolutely immaculate. So that's a good thing. These are some of the houses on the hill as you move towards you walk from the center, the port, back to the center of Kukra. It's called Kukra Hills, so I don't know if it's because it's uphill from the port, but anyway, so at the moment it's all field, plantation if you want, and very little houses. This looks like an abandoned house. Yeah, so you have the same sort of phenomena that you get in what's it called? And another one here. So that seems to be a theme, a recurrent theme that you see in Nicaragua, especially in the Caribbean side. A lot of people moving away, and there was a hurricane, I think I can't remember, a few years back, and that was not a very good thing for the locals here. It destroyed a lot of things. And then someone said that when the hurricane actually started, well, no, not the hurricane. Okay, yeah, the hurricane. And then so it just meant rebuilding becomes a bit more expensive and tedious for the locals. And because of that, most people just said, well, it's just so much hassle. We're spending too much money. And if you look at the fields here, spending too much money on construction, reconstruction, and then having to redo it all over again without making enough money to make it worthwhile. So people abandon, move somewhere else. And this is another one, abandoned, as we walk towards the town center of Kukra Hill. So it's an interesting phenomenon. So there's a bar there, so all good. It means among the chaos, people need to drink their pains away. So that's and amidst all that, you've got God, church, Kukra Hill Church. There are not a lot of motorcycles here, which I find very strange. I would imagine it being a more affordable means of transportation. You would have it here, very similar to what you get in Managua. But here, you're not seeing any of that. You see every now and then, but it's not as popular. So, there you go. What I can say is that most people will tend to speak Creole by default when they meet you. Even at the stores, Creole or English seems to be the default here. And if, of course, they see you can't follow, they'll switch to Spanish. Yeah, which is an interesting thing to observe. And something I've noticed just walking here towards the center is that you have a lot of the streets are really, well, the main streets are cleaner than Bluefields. I think we're beginning to get into the center now where all the stores are. So the more you walk around here, the more you see the stores and all these other things. Indication of getting to the center of town, which is, I think, quite interesting. What I haven't seen is how clean. I'm still surprised. I think what's it called? Bluefields lowered the standard so much that here I'm just kind of looking for something similar, but I'm not finding it, which is a good thing, I suppose. And then you have another church here. So in about 5 minutes radius, you have another church. Oh, this is another one, Revival Tabernacle. So little stores selling clothing, shoes, food, a horse. You don't have that many horses here. The reason why I'm actually walking towards this place is because on the way to, when I took the taxi on the way to Laguna de Perlas, there was a sort of a fountain in the center of Kukra that I thought was really nice. So I'm just walking towards there to go and check it out, see if it's really worth the hype. Anyway, from what I saw from the taxi. Something I didn't see here. Oh, by the way, a lot of people tend to use these sort of reflective laminated lamination on the front of the windows, and you see this glass effect on the outside, and you can't see inside, but you can see inward out. So anyway, what was I going to say? You don't see a lot of bus service, and this is one of the things that actually surprised me. I would have thought it would have been probably feasible to have a bus that runs regularly on schedule from the port to from the port of Kukra to Perlas, but most people just take taxi, and the taxis, it's a shared cost. So anyway, so this is a whole, okay, this is a sort of a water point, which I thought is really nice. Waterfall. Let's go to the other side to get a closer look. Alright, so this is the centerpiece. It's got a sort of a pool, artificial pool. I don't know how clean the water is, but it seems to be water coming from the river somewhere, or stream, and the young people are just enjoying a cool dip inside inside the water, just having a good time. Really nice. And then you can sit here. There's a little food restaurant sort of over there, and so people probably just bring their food here and just sit around and enjoy the water. If you can swim, if you can't swim, well, just sit on the side and put your feet in the water. another angle of the waterfront. Really nice. If this was done on purpose, whoever did it did a good job. That's my take. So this is one of the we're beginning to leave the center of town, and I said there was no bus because, well, I couldn't see it, but there was a bus stop just there. So there's a bus stop there. The blue thing there is a bus stop, and I can see a bus coming here. So now we are at the what's it called, Kukra Hill Racks, and then you have the bus. So obviously there is a bus, but it probably doesn't go to where I want it to go to. So anyway, so I think that is a quick overview of this city. It is doing better, but it's still the same problem. Agriculture, I think around about 10,000 people in the whole municipality, and it's all spread out. So you have most people will probably live very close to the center, and that's where you have all the business and the fun, and then more rural areas would come and spend their money here in the center. So now let's wait for the next taxi to get to the Muelle. So I made it. I took a taxi on the way back. Yeah, because you can't afford to miss this one. So this is supposed to be the boat we'll be taking, so it should be interesting to see what happens. Everyone's waiting now. Let's see where. Whilst we wait for the final boat ride to Bluefield, let's talk about the history of Kukra and why it's called Kukra. Apparently there's an indigenous people called Kukra, and they used to be the ones who used to live here, and then the Brits came, and then the Mosquito Kingdom people came, and more other people came, and before you know it, the name remains, but now you have a mixture of a lot of people living here in Kukra Hills and also in the Laguna Perlas. So you have the Creoles, you've got the Garifuna people, you've got the Mosquitoes, you've got you probably also have like Asians, Chinese people, and what else? What other groups? There are quite a few groups. It's just a melting pot, just to say, so to say. And so all these people all ended up here, and they've been living here ever since. But of course, the main primary thing that most people do, that's why you see a lot of fishing boats, is because, well, fishing and exporting fish is a good business. Well, you've got the water, and this is apparently the lagoon here is one of the biggest, or if not the biggest actually, in Nicaragua. So the lagoon that spans the Kukra area and the Laguna Perlas, Laguna Perlas. So you have all those people here. So it's been, and the population is only about 11,000 people. You don't see that many people on the streets, by the way. You don't see most people walking around. And I could imagine because, well, it's cold. No, I mean it's hot. I think the sunshine is getting to me. I'm no longer coherent in what I'm saying. Anyway, so and that is one of those things. And I could imagine when you're here, you're far from everything. So you have the boat here that we saw earlier today, and if you look at Bluefield, how hard it is to get from there to Managua, I would imagine this is going to be difficult as well. But there is a road here that goes from here to Rama, and Rama would take you maybe towards Granada, and then you go up north to Managua. So yeah, the government has done a lot to improve the road situation connecting most of the remote coastal areas in the Caribbean, and so that is, you're seeing the difference now that more goods are getting in and people are spending more. And also it opens opportunities for younger ones who don't want to go into fishing because they don't see a future in that, or you've studied or you want to go to study. It means you would probably, instead of spending a couple of days going from the Caribbean to the city, now you can do that in a single day. Depending on where you are, it could be traveling for maybe 4 to 6 hours. So yeah, that is one of the things. Now let's talk about this the boat ride. I've always wondered, when we were about to take the boat this morning, it started to rain, and this is my question. The boat we took doesn't have a shelter, so it isn't one of these. And even if you had one of these that protects you a bit from the sunshine, but it doesn't totally protect you from the rain. So I take it that you get a nice shower by the time you get here. So it is one of those things where I think the situation here and the economic situation, if for whatever reason someone comes in with a bit of money and tries to disrupt here, it's going to be devastating for the local people if someone were to come in and said, look, we're going to put a boat service from here to Bluefields, or from here to Laguna Perlas, and it's going to be fixed. On the hour we leave if the boat is full or not. It's going to be a game changer, even if it's a bit more expensive. So the boat ride here from here to Bluefields is 150 Cordobas. So that's about what's like $5, $6. So if someone came in, and now when I got here it was like 2 p.m. and now it's 3 p.m. So I've been waiting around, or hanging around, going to the center and coming back, hoping that there'll be the boat, more people would join, and then we could travel. But if someone were to come in and just say, look, we're going to run this service as a bus service like most things, so it means when you get here, maybe 15 minutes before, on the hour the boat leaves, you don't waste a lot of time. This morning it was like almost 2 hours just waiting for everyone, the boat to fill up. So those are some of the little things that the economic situation is causing here, where you spend a lot of time waiting for things to happen, and it's a bit more laid back, I have to say. And one of the other things is, I think this is one of those things where you go to maybe probably Western countries like Germany. It's a German efficiency. People say, well, it's a bit of an overstretch. You go to other countries, it's efficient. They tell you bring these papers, you give it to the government or the town hall. They tell you come back in 2 days. You come back in 2 days, everything is ready. They stamp it, you pay, and you leave. It's just like that. But when you get to other countries, you learn to just take it a bit slower. The pace of life is slower, everything is slower, and that leads me to something I've observed here. Other people have mentioned it. We stayed in a hotel in Huigalpa, and the lady said, did you also notice that customer service isn't that great here? And we waited for her to explain, and then she said the notion of customer service, where you come in and they say, oh, how may I help you? Do you need this? They're basically at your service, basically trying to get you to spend money. But here in Nicaragua, we've noticed, when compared to Costa Rica, the idea of customer service doesn't seem to exist. So you just sometimes you get to the restaurant or the service. This is generalization. Not everyone is like that, but we've seen quite a few of these that just gives you the impression that is just the way things is done. So they don't seem. I wouldn't say they don't seem to care. It's just that the notion isn't there. And this reminds me, I think, of the same. What Asian country had the same issue? I think it's Eastern European country. I think in Montenegro, and they had the same problem where they were not used to tourists, and the idea of the customer service, being at the I wouldn't say at the whim of the customer, but being customer service oriented wasn't in the culture. So it meant that a lot of the people you get there, and what you would perceive as being rude, but apparently it's not rude. It's just that it's just the way things are. They're not used to. They don't understand, that international standard is just a bit different. So that's one thing. And another thing I've noticed here in Nicaragua is that I was in a taxi going from here to Laguna, and the guy sitting beside me in the taxi had a drink of water. He finished a bottle of water and he just chucked it through the window just like that. And I was like, wow, how could you do that? And multiple times we were driving behind buses and people would just do the same. So, I think my boat is here. He's just filled up. Yeah, all right, let's go and get the boat before. So that is one of those things that it's rather shocking because you're not used to it. Okay, quickly. So here we go. See how long that's going to take. The sea is a bit rough. That was intense. I thought the boat was going to sink. All right. Give the life jacket back. Alright, we survived that. The sea, as you can see, is very rough. So as the boat races towards the port, it was just being thrown about. That was rather interesting. I was like, are we going to make it? Alright. So it's been an interesting day visiting the area. Unfortunately, I think thinking about that and the situation in Bluefields and the Caribbean side is that you see very little tourists visiting. Every now and then, people from Managua would want to come and take a look and see what it's all about. But it's just the fact that if you go there, there isn't anything to do. So if you want to just go and chillax, that's probably great. But the problem is, after a couple of days, if you have family there, you're spending time with your families and all that. But if you don't, it becomes very, very hard to justify why anyone would want to come there. So I think that is one of the problems that the area is facing, that you get there and there is nothing to do. Even in Bluefields, I have to say there is nothing to do. No tourist attraction here. So when you have that, it becomes. I think it's a shame really, because there is potential. You've got your water, so that would be an attraction. You've got the little islands, that would be another attraction. But for that to happen, you need to massive investments where a lot more investors come in and build resorts and zip lining, jet ski, rentals, all these other things. But yeah, anyway, that's it for today. Something I just noticed coming back now is that it is very, it seems the street cleaners have been here because the streets are cleaner now. Yeah, so someone must have been here to clean it up. Much cleaner than earlier when I left this morning. Oh, I see. This explains why. So they're in the process of actually cleaning up. So they don't do it on a daily basis. The streets, the pavements are much cleaner now. So someone obviously during the day on a Wednesday has obviously been here and has been taking care of the street and giving it some love. And the streets, they do look much cleaner now. So that's a good thing.